You wake up to a loud crash downstairs, not entirely uncommon in this house. You're quickly finding out, but still disconcerting. More clatters and thumps lead you to the kitchen, where Mabel teeters on a short step ladder in front of the pantry. Standing on her tiptoes, she reaches out as high as she can for a small yellow box on the top shelf. Pancake mix. Without a word, you go to her side and pluck the box from the shelf for her, placing it into her outstretched hand. Oh, Beckerager, thank you. Uncle Stan put it on the top shelf for some reason, but I need some maple cakes. It's a breakfast emergency. She waggles her free fingers in her face and can't help but laugh. You can tell the house becomes more alive when these kids are around. Want to help me make them? You only need chocolate milk, coffee, pink food coloring, and a pot of goldos to make breakfast dream a breakfast reality. As delicious as that sounds, you're inclined to ask where the coffee comes into the mix when you realize the house is suspiciously quiet. Mabel, where is everybody? Oh, Uncle Stan needed stuff for your car, so we went to get the techie stuff for that. I think Uncle Ford's somewhere. Hey, heard about the abominable bro, man? He's trying to steal soda from campers, so he went to help him out. Yep, that's where he went. Totally knew that. So they left you guys to make breakfast on your own. You don't know the family well enough yet to know this is commonplace, so the idea of leaving two teenagers alone to fend for themselves seems fine. If one of the teenagers wasn't Mabel, anyways. Still don't know how coffee fits into her maple cakes, but now you don't really want to know. Dipper attempts to hide the pancake mix from Mabel, at least while she's grabbing the chocolate mix from the fridge. Apparently he doesn't want to find out either. Maple cakes sound absolutely divine. Why don't we? Quick, think of something so you don't hurt feelings. Go out for breakfast. Is there somewhere we can go out to breakfast? Should really save the maple cakes till your great uncles get back. I know they wouldn't want to miss them. But I want to perfect my recipe. I have to get better at cooking and baking and stuff so I can survive out there in the world. What if in high school I'll have to bake stuff and people are better than me? Mabel looks very agitated, tugging at her hair with both hands. If I can't make the perfect Mabel cakes, I can never be on Bad Dreams Dining. I gotta impress Gerald Rambone, Beckerager. It's my destiny. Dipper, can you cook? Maybe Dipper can help you make something different. We should save the Mabel cakes for another day, a more special day. Mabel's still standing on the stepladder, reaches up and squishes your cheeks together, her wide eyes staring into your soul. Every day is a special day with maple cakes. You glance at Dipper, making a please help me and I'll buy you breakfast face. You hope he understands. Yeah, Mabel, I know you want to cook more since you're becoming an adult. Sure, but don't you think Uncle Stan and Great Uncle Forge need you to try him too? Not just me? Again. Mabel hops off the stepladder and ponders her brother's question, lips pursed. Eventually, she nods, beaming at you both. You're right, Dipper. I can't deny them that experience. Give Dipper a thankful smile over Mabel's head as she puts the ingredients back in the refrigerator. He grins back at you, rubbing the back of his neck. You wonder if he got that from one of his grunkles. That's clever now that you think about it. Great plus uncle to make grunkle. Saves time on syllables. We should go to Greasy's. They have some of the best pancakes there, with like 3 different kinds of syrup, if you ask Lazy Susan nicely. Yeah, it's not super far. Let's go. The kids are about to head out of the kitchen when you realize something. Wait, aren't you gonna leave a note for your grunkles about where you're going? Oh, right, good call. Dipper scribbles out a note for Stan and Ford and sticks it in the front door of the shack with one of Mabel's stickers. The kids lead the way towards the town, explaining various landmarks and the wild and wonderful stories attached to them along the way. This is where we saw those 2 ghosty old people. God, the supermarket. In a convenience store? Strange. But you nod regardless. Maybe she just meant they were so old they looked like ghosts? Dipper points out the diner in the distance, a log-shaped building atop of a train cart. The three of you head inside. You soon realize that the kids know just about everyone in this town. Several people, young and old, wave at them as the three of you find a table. And you get the feeling that they're almost famous in Gravity Falls. Though you're not entirely sure why. They're pretty cute, though. Mabel blows the paper wrapper off her straw at Dipper's face, and he retaliates by swatting her with a laminated menu. An elderly woman in a pastel pink waitress dress comes up to the table, and you catch her name and her tag, Susan. Hiya, kids and stranger. What can I get for you? Pancakes and all 3 syrups for me, please, Lazy Susan. Same for me, actually. Lazy Susan turns to you, notepad in hand. What'll you get? Coming right up, sweetie. Lazy Susan winks at you with her good eye, of course. It heads back to the It heads back to the diner. Heads to the back of the diner. The wait for your food to arrive feels longer here than most, mainly due to Mabel and Dipper using this time to interrogate you. At first, it's somewhat intimidating. You literally crashed into their house and started hanging out with their great uncles. They have lots of questions. Once the irrational fear of 2 13-year-olds fades out, you recognize their interview for what it really is. They care about their grown-ups. If you do start hanging out with them more, they want to know as much about you as possible. Mabel's questions are somewhat nonsensical. So if you were stranded on a deserted island with no boat, no cheating, what would you take with you? What do you mean no cheating? While Dipper's more careful and calculated. What were you doing before you came here? School? Work? Both? Neither? Did you know about Gravity Falls before you crashed into the shack? You immediately know which uncle each twin takes after. Stan and Mabel, goofy partners in crime, versus the quiet brainiacs, Ford and Dipper. It's an intriguing contrast, especially now that you're thrown into the middle of a bunch. As the twins race to see which syrup bottle trips them in their mouths the fastest, Dipper's blueberry syrup beeps Mabel's classic Mabel by half a millisecond, we swear by it. You know that these kids do a lot more for their great uncles than just be cute counterparts. And here we go. Enjoy, kiddos. Let me know if you need anything else. Lazy Susan gives out the respective plates, and the kids go quiet, shuffling down their food like they've never been fed before. Between mouthfuls, you get a few more questions about yourself and your theories on aliens versus which member of M Synchronize was your favorite. But the table is near silent as the 3 of you eat. That is, until Mabel speaks up through a mouthful of pancake. So, Mick Ranger, if in a totally made-up and non-real situation, you had to pick, oh god, no, you had to pick who your favorite was, would you pick Grunkle Stan or Grunkle Ford? This seems too bland compared to her other cutesy questions. Dipper elbows his sister not so subtly, but she elbows him right back, wide eyes staring at him in a sibling look you can't decipher. Like, say you're in a movie, one of those weird movies where Uncle Stan watches on the TV with the ladies in goofy dresses riding horses. Awfully specific, but you let her continue, taking another bite of your food. You're the main character of this movie, and you got 2 guys who are both madly in love with you. This one doesn't mess around with getting right to the point, huh? Wish you could only marry one of them, so you could be next in line for the throne. What would you do if Grunkle Stan and Grunkle Ford were choices? Who would you go with? I mean, it's kind of weird, isn't it? Like, really weird. Kind of gross. Come on, Dipper, this is important information that's vital to my research. I agree, what research? None of your business yet, but I'm still gathering other research. Mabel leans towards Dipper's ear to whisper, waggling her brow at you before she replies, and not a whisper, quite the opposite. Research on how you are a huge nerd. And with that, Mabel catapults the spoonful of melted butter from atop her pancake onto Dipper's cheek with a very satisfying splat. Dipper jerks in disgust, but retaliates by smearing strawberry syrup onto Mabel's nose, a drop of stickiness plopping onto her sweater. Ew, gross. You're gross. There's no vitriol between the twins, but lots of giggles and a few more various food missiles. Eventually, syrup streaks Mabel's cheekbones, some of her hair, and Dipper has a small piece of pancake stuck to his face. You guys are fucking dorks. Maybe you're right. We're twins, so it's adorable. If you say so, Mabel. Wait, quick, Mech Ranger, take a picture of us while Dipper's got pancake on his face. F, what? He swipes quickly at his face, and after several passes, gets it off. Oh, I was trying to get more candid pictures of us. Mabel, you have syrup everywhere. Really? Oh, it would have been a perfect combo. Here, let me get it. Your hands are sticky enough. Get back up with a napkin in hand and try to wipe some of the syrup off Mabel's cheeks. The excess syrup swipes off easily, but a good portion doesn't budge. I mean, maybe syrup as makeup is the next new look. That's one word for it, kid. Oh god, Stan's here. We wondered where you went once we came back to a suspiciously quiet house. If it weren't for Dipper's note, we would have been worried. Sixer would have been worried. I tried to tell him you kids pull this kind of stuff all the time, heading out unannounced, putting stress on your poor old Grogan's heart. He puts a hand over his heart dramatically. All those missing hours of unpaid child labor. Hell yeah. Actually, that note wasn't me. Well, I wrote it, but Mech Ranger's the one who said we should, so that you know where we went. Both Ford and Stan turned to look at you surprised. Really? Figured these two knuckleheads dragged you here. Why not bring breakfast at home? This place is at least 15-minute walk from the shack. Well, glancing Dipper, spinning his finger across Mabel's cheek and licking the blueberry syrup off. Mabel has a pancake in her mouth, chewing on it like a grazing sheep. I wanted to treat them to something. This is the least I can do. You're letting me stay with you and fixing my car. I thought since you were gone, I'd take these two out for a change. Also, Mabel was gonna make Mabel cakes again. He's mad because you can't even make toast right. But yes, I can. I burned it one time. One time. Dipper holds his syrup-tipped finger in the air, indignant. Well, Mabel wanted you guys to enjoy her Mabel cakes too. And since there wasn't much food, I figured I'd take them out. Ford asks Mabel about her creation, wondering how much extra caffeine one could gain from adding instant coffee to the concoction. But Stan stays quiet. Catch him out of the corner of your eye, staring at you. A lopsided smile tugging at the corner of his mouth. Oh, thanks, Mech Ranger. Appreciate it. Oh, no problem at all. You smile warmly at Stan despite the heat spreading over your cheeks. But he's rubbing the back of his neck, looking down at his feet. Oh no, he's fucking blushing. Yeah. Mabel throws a theatrical wink your way. You're not sure why, don't you fucking wink at me, you goofy little shit. Well, kid, if you're paying, scoot over. Scoot over, Dipper. I want breakfast too. Stanley, it's at least 12:30 now. Looking forward, that means it's time for brunch. Duh. See, this kid gets me. Now let me in so I can get some grub. Dipper moves to your side of the booth as Stan sits next to Mabel. Ford sits at Dipper's side. Lazy Susan comes back and takes order for another round of food and drinks for everyone, including Mabel, who decided she wants more pancakes. You're starting to regret offering to pay, but as Stan and Mabel try their hands at the syrup drip race, with Dipper cheering them on, Ford watching with a wide grin on his face. You know, you don't really mind that much. Over the next few days, you continue to help out around the Mystery Shack, not out of obligation, but because you have nothing better to do. Besides Seuss, practically the golden retriever of people, is really digging the input from the current installments from an outsider's perspective. Bless his soul, the guy even offered you a job if you end up stranded here forever, dude. And needs to make a life for yourself. Stan nearly choked on his ice pop as he overheard. Thinking about it now, the relationship between Sulce and Stan is unexpected, if not a little odd. But it makes you smile that no matter how many times Stan may roll his eyes as he does it, always help Sulce and get something done just right. Showered and dressed, you go outside as per usual, but don't see anyone. After a few minutes search, you find Stan standing with his back to you in one of the exhibit rooms, admiring the weird and wonderful animal amalgamates he's collected for his tourist trap, handed his chin at the thought. Am I interrupting something important between you and the goose turkey? Stan turns at the sound of your voice, smiling. No? You need something? You have any plans tonight? Oh shit. He mulls your question over for a few moments, giving you an assessing look up and down. Got a couple of errands to run. Why? You gonna tag along? What kind of errands you got in mind? What kind of errands you got in mind, old man? Just your usual weekend stops. Need a getaway driver. None of these kids are legal. Just joking. I think. Right, I'm heading out in a couple hours. Meet me out front. A couple of hours? No about Spec Ranger. We can't rush this stuff, trust me. Okay, sure. Not ominous at all, Stan. Yeah. Meet me out front if you think you can handle it. He turns to go, but stops for a second, and then turns back. Oh, and we're black. Seems you don't like me. That's ominous as shit, bro. And before you can ask why he's gone, into the depths of the shack, a couple hours turn into a handful. But you pass by watching some TV with Mabel and Dipper and dozing off. You have no idea what kind of satellite they get out here, but the shows on now are some of the most bizarre programming you've ever seen. Once you've had enough waiting, you change into your darkest clothes and sit on the front steps of the shack, watching as the sun starts to sink past the trees. It's cloudy and unusually warm for this time of day. It's a nice breeze out. It's strange that these errands needed to happen so late in the day, considering the things you've gathered about this criminal past. However, maybe this is a typical weekday night for Stan. Oh god. The screen door creaks and out comes Stan, dressed all in black, just like you are, with a lumpy duffel bag under one arm and a briefcase in the other hand. As he's about to speak, a sudden gust of wind comes along and ruffles your hair, and he smooths it down irritatedly before regaining. Oh shit. A sudden gust of wind comes along and ruffles his hair, and he smooths it down irritatedly before regaining his cool and nodding at you. Ready? Ready. You slide into the passenger seat as Stan settles into the driver's seat. It takes a couple of tries to start, but the engine's chugging away. By the time you get your seatbelt on, the radio stammers to life as the engine does, spitting out generic-sounding rock music into the leather-scented air of the car's interior. After a moment spent adjusting mirrors and fiddling with knobs, Stan slots the gear shift into drive and pulls out of the Mystery Shack slot and down the road to town. The radio's on and Stan taps his fingers on the steering wheel to the beat of the music while he drives. So I take it we're not making a quick trip for milk and eggs? He laughs and glances over towards you. Nope. And where are we going? First stop is to see a buddy of mine, a hunter. I get all my taxidermy supplies from him. So that's where you get your parts from? Yeah. Well, I just figured you got them from a local farm or something. Do business with those hippies? Not a chance. Well, I really enjoyed making that showcase with you the other day. I had no idea you were so creative. He glances over at you with poorly hidden surprise, turning almost immediately back to the road and shrugging. It's just gluing stuff together, really. Yeah, man, it takes a lot of skill, man. You have a real gift for it. He turns to you again and his cheeks go a little pink when he sees the smile you're giving him. Oh, thanks. After a moment, he faces the road again, but now he's tapping out the rhythm of the song with a little more enthusiasm, even humming the chorus as he drives. Do you have any other hobbies? He rolls his shoulders back in a shrug, his head tilting off a bit towards the window. These days I spend most of my time out on the boat with four mud monsters discovering things.
One eternity later.
Alright, I'm finally back. He pauses, watching the road without expression. I used to box. It shows. Really. I wouldn't mind showing you a few things if you wanted. I'd like to. After about 20 minutes of rural scenery, Stan pulls off the road and onto a long gravel driveway that disappears into the woods. Is this the place? Stan nods. This place looks sketchy as hell. Stan nods and rounds the turn to reveal a clearing populated by a trailer home and a couple of sheds. The trailer is a bit run down and shabby. One of the sheds looks about one strong sneeze from collapsing. Not really the place you want to be at night, while alone with a guy you practically just met. Be honest, did you bring me here to murder me? Stan laughs, cutting the engine and resting his arm on the back of the front seat. Unfortunately, you figured it out, so now I definitely gotta kill you. I'm kidding, kid. Relax. He moves to get out of the car. He moves to get out of the car, then turns back with a creepy, blank expression on his face. Where am I? I chuckle nervously, and he laughs again, pushing the door open. Seriously, I'm kidding. I'll be on. At this door to the trailer, Stan knocks. The door opens on a dark interior before he walks inside. The door shuts behind him. You give the yard a few curious glances before realizing that the weird pile of sticks you've been looking at is actually bones. You quickly pull out your phone to look at it instead. 10 minutes later, and Stan's back, carrying a large cardboard box in both hands. You see him fumble with the handles of the rear to lift the door for a moment before you reach back over your seat and pop it open for him. The peek in the box reveals a few various shades of furry somethings and an animal skull you don't recognize. This doesn't seem like something worth busting out all your darkest duds for. We aren't by chance robbing a bank, are we? Because I would have brought gloves. Stan laughs. No, nothing like that. He starts the car up again and you're back on the road. Somehow I'm not quite convinced. But who knows where the night's going to take us? Could be legal, could be not. That a problem? You're right, kid. Stan takes the highway. The final minutes of the sunset's burnt orange and purple ahead of you, with a welcome sign for Gravity Falls disappears into the rearview mirror. A new song comes on the radio, something bright and bouncy with lyrics about love. His fingers get back to tapping. In the retreating light, you can see faded patches in the rim of the steering wheel, the color worn away from decades worth of his touch. The passenger seat you sit in hasn't yet taken on the shape of someone specific. Even after all this time, the springs still feel brand new. Meanwhile, on the driver's side of the car, Stan settled easily into his seat, which fits him as well as a finely tailored jacket. Tuck your legs up under its weight, leaning back into the dark leather of the DeVille's interior, and watch cars pass and recede out the windshield. After a few minutes of music-backed silence, you feel like breaking it. Who knows about this car? Oh, the Stanmobile here? Stan pats the dashboard affectionately, running his lower hand over the leather interior. I've had her since high school. Nice ride, ain't she? Nope, they sure don't. From Oregon originally? Not from out east, Jersey. A little town called Glass Shard Beach. Yes. Name your town after something dangerous. That'll bring the tourists in. Be surprised. What's it like? He shrugs. Well, why you move out here? It's a long story. His voice is quiet, and he watches the road ahead with intense focus, but the expression doesn't last long before he brightens and smiles over at you. You don't want to hear it anyway. You don't want to hear it anyways. Tell him a joke. Oh God, not the microwave had the heart of a lion joke. Fine. Stan glances over at you, momentarily confused as to why you're bringing this up. And a lifetime ban from the zoo. Stan laughs. That's pretty good. He thinks for a minute, presumably to come up with a joke of his own. Alright. Blonde walks into a bank in New York City. Oh no, this isn't gonna be one of those awful blondes or dumb jokes, is it? It levels a withering look at you. Can I tell the joke? I don't know, can you? You grin with your lower lip caught between your teeth, clearly joking, and he chuckles. Anyway, Blonde walks into a bank in New York. She goes up to the bank manager and she says, I'd like to take out a loan for $5,000. I'm taking a vacation overseas. The car passes you on the highway going 20 over the speed limit. Stan swears at them and stifles it. Swears and then stifles it. Yeesh, bad drivers. So the bank manager goes, well, miss, do you have collateral? We need collateral for that kind of loan, and she nods, and she says she does. She takes the bank manager out to the parking lot where she got a $50,000 Ferrari waiting, and she says, this is my car. You can hold on to it until I pay back my loan. Stan continues, glancing over at you, trying to suppress a smile. The bank manager is confused, but he figures if this lady doesn't pay, he's going to have a nice new Ferrari in his garage, so he agrees. The sign for an exit ahead points off to the right, the text reading County Road 328. Stan takes it off the highway. So he gives the blonde her new 5Gs, she hands him the keys to her car, and she heads off to Europe. A month later, she shows up back at the bank with 5Gs and the interest for the loan, which figures out to about $15. Stan continues turning down an unlit gravel road, with the headlights casting spooky shadows throughout the trees. The bank manager takes the repayment for the loan, and the interest, as one of his employees bring the car out in front of the bank from the blonde. Out ahead of the road, a deer turns its face to the car, and then leaps across the road to disappear into the woods. Just before she leaves, the bank manager stops the blonde and she says, lady, I'm real confused here. You're clearly loaded enough to afford this car, and you paid back the loan and then some. Why'd you take the loan if you're so rich? The lady turns to him, puts a hand through her ear and says, where else can I park my car in New York City for 2 weeks for only $15? I've heard that so many fucking times. It's pretty funny, man. He bursts into wild laughter, and he laughs along with you. Alright, I take it back. That was the best blonde joke I've ever heard in my life. Just as you finish speaking, Stan pulls off to the side of the road, and the engine dies. As you step out of the car, the unearthly silence of the woods envelops the two of you. Out in the woods ahead, you see a single bright light. Is this the place? Just about it. You follow him back towards the trunk, which he opens quietly and slowly, frowning as it squeaks. What are you doing here? You guess you're looking at me, but I think. Two of you stare at each other for a moment. He looks a little nervous. For art. What do you mean by that? What do you mean you got a thing for art? That's pretty cool. He brightens, smiling into the dim haze of the trunk light. This chump up the hill here is one by this chump up this here. Fucking damn it. Well, this chump up this hill here has one by this artist, Gustav Swooning. Snuck it from right out from under me at an auction. I've been trying to buy it off him for years, but the jerk won't sell no matter how much I offer him. Trust me, you meet this guy, you know it's out of spite. So he's stealing it. You got it, kid. You did try to buy it first. Exactly. Stan laughs quietly. Fished around the duffel bag for you don't know what. Wait till you see it. It's a masterpiece. I'm waiting 6 months for him to go out of town. Here, take these. pulls a pair of gloves from the bag, handing them to you. When you slide them on, they fit almost perfectly. I guess your size right? You nod, wiggling your fingers. Stan chuckles, pulling out a pair of his own. A set of black leather driving gloves with silver snap closures that glint in the light from the drum. Ready, kid? It's all over me, you bet. Stan tucks a few things into the inner pockets of his jacket that you can't see in the low light. With the trunk shut just as quietly as it was opened, you follow him up into the woods towards the distant light. As you near it, a porch takes shape within the light's glow. Behind it, the dark shape of a house sits in the even darker woods. Stan leads you past the front porch and around the corner of the house to a set of stairs that appear to lead to a basement. This is my favorite part. He withdraws a small black shape from his pocket, something that looks like it might be a pen. The pen-shaped thing turns out to be a small flashlight he holds in his teeth as he opens the black case to reveal a set of lock-picking tools. You're a lucky person, kid. You get to see the artist in action. He gets to work inserting one tool in, pulling it down to the bottom of the keyhole, and pulling out another and poking into the innards of the lock with it. You glance around in the darkness as he works, half expecting to get caught before you get anywhere. Then the lock clicks and Stan stands up, opening the door for you with a flourish. It's pretty cool. He beams with pride, and you smile politely as you step through the door in front of him. The basement is unlit. It smells like dust and mildew. The air is sour with wet dirt and mold. Stan moves past you into the dark, his little pen flashlight still lit, and leads you through a cobwebby laundry room towards a door across from the bottom. A set of rickety wooden stairs. Wait till you see this, kid. He picks the lock of this door just as quickly as he picked the last. The door creaks open to a dark room with odd flooring barely lit by Stan's flashlight. Stan goes first, and as you follow him in, he hits a light switch, revealing a beautifully designed gallery with plush scarlet carpets and gleaming wood paneling full of paintings of sad clouds. God. Stan looks more excited than you've seen him yet, his arms crossed over his chest and a warm smile on his face. Can you believe this hillbilly chump has a collection like this? You shake your head slowly, still looking around the room with wide eyes. Someday all of these are going to be mine. Come on, I'll show you the one we're here to get. You follow him to the back of the room, and he stops in front of a large painting of a clown with bright red lips and blue circles on his cheeks. His eyes outlined in black with comically large eyelashes painting onto his eyelids. His neck ruff droops sadly. His costume is dingy and worn. What do you think? Let's go to that one there. This is kind of creepy. Kind of a niche thing, sure. Let's get this off the wall and out of here. As he works to get the clowning down off the wall, you wander the room, looking at the other paintings. As you look over a portrait of a mime with dirt in his white and black striped shirt, you're suddenly grabbed by your shoulders. And boom! Ah! You scream. Eyes shut in fear as you throw a weak karate chop at the source of the noise, making unimpressive contact with something solid and muscular. After a moment's panic, you squeeze whatever the thing is with your hands and open your eyes, finding... is that supposed to hurt me? Stan's arm and shoulder. Boy, he's really packing some heat in there. Wow. He laughs, apparently very pleased with himself for scaring the absolute life out of you. You need those boxing tips even more than I thought. You couldn't defend yourself from a fly with moves like that. You laugh shakily. It's then you realize you're still feeling up Stan's arm. Sorry about that. You pull your hands away a bit too fast and he chuckles, blushing all the way up to his ears. Stop blushing at me. No problem, kid. He clears his throat, and the silence between you begins to grow awkward before it's interrupted. Upstairs, what the fuck Upstairs in what is supposed to be an empty house, you hear footsteps crossing towards the door to the basement. Stan apparently hears them too, a sudden series of expressions crossing his face from shock to confusion to terror, and finally settling on indignation. He completely takes you by the arm, whispering harshly in your ears as he drags you towards the entrance of the clown room. As soon as he comes in here, shut the door and shove these boxes in front. You nod, and just as a line of light from the top of the stairs blooms into a wide swath, and Stan ducked behind a wall near the door to freedom. One corner, the stolen painting poking you uncomfortably in the ribs. Who's down there? Slippered feet come down the wooden steps ahead of you. When your owner notices the light on, he holds something long and gun-shaped out in front of himself. Pines, if that's you, I swear to God, I'm really gonna shoot you this time. Gun-shaped. Gun? Stan nudges you, jabbing a thumb towards the door leading outside, and jerks his head towards it. You take a step out from behind the wall, take Stan's hand in your own, and pull him into a jog and then run. The two of you scrambling up the concrete steps out into the cool night air as a voice shouts and swears behind you. Stan kicks the door shut on his way out. There's a startled yelp behind you as he makes contact with the owner of the house. There's more swearing, but you lose it behind you as you run, flashlight in one hand and Stan's hand in the other. When you reach the tree line, you part and maneuver your way through bushes and brambles, Stan crashing through them behind you. As you run, a deafening gunshot goes off behind you and you realize that you're being chased. Holy smokes, run for it, Mac Ranger. The noise gets closer. Close enough that you can hear your pursuer swearing continually and loudly. You slow a bit, flashing your light behind you, raising the beam to find a distant and visibly enraged face of a man with a rifle in his hand. Acting on pure instinct, you fling the flashlight in the direction of the angry man and take off running again. After a moment, the man cries out. The sound of pursuit faded with one final cry. Damn you, Pines! Stan cackles. Sounds like you hit him. You reach the Stanmobile first, sliding into the passenger seat as Stan slips his new clowning in the back seat before joining you in front. Both of you panting and huffing. Stan hurriedly starts the engine and pulls off. At the next driveway, he does the fastest three-point turn you'll ever see in your life, and then peels off down the gravel road and screeches out into the highway. Stan's quiet for a second before letting loose into wild, triumphant laughter. I thought he was going to catch me that time for sure. Did a man just shoot at us? Stan nods, still chuckling and apparently pretty pleased he didn't get hit. He lets out a long, loud sigh, his white-knuckled hands at 10 and 2 and staring at me. Yeah, that was only. You okay, Mac Ranger? I'm fine. He pulled away in the direction you came from. You lapse into comfortable silence. After a while, he starts humming along with the radio, and knowing the song this time, you hum along with him. Gravity Falls welcome sign passes by again, but the route Stan's taking doesn't seem to lead back to the shack. Instead, you come to a stop outside rows and rows of used cars. A car dealership. Stan slides out of the car, withdrawing something from his pocket with the rest of his jacket. Once you get out and around the front bumper, you can see that it's a cigar. You mind if I smoke? Yeah, I don't like smoking around the kids, you know. Pretty bad enough influence. He chuckles and withdraws a pack of matches from his pocket. And his face is bathed in the light of the flame. From your place a ways down the road, Stan surveys the lot, eyes sweeping back and forth until they land on what looks like a fuse box under the dark overhang of the roof. On the far side of the dealership, what are we getting? New drive belt, some spark plugs, a couple other things I can't remember the name of and aren't worth explaining. Won't take all night though, right? He shakes his head, taking a long drag from the cigar, smoke rolling off his lips and into the night. You lean back against the front bumper of the car next to him, stuff your hands in your pockets. There isn't much light pollution around here, so the stars are bright and numerous above. Provided your car gets fixed up, the This might not turn out to be such a bad trip. You take a deep breath into your nose. The smell of sweet, heady cigar smoke and crisp night air fills your lungs. So how are we doing this? We gotta get rid of the lights. I doubt Bud's is clever enough to have night vision cameras. He laughs a little as he speaks, smoke blowing out into the night with each individual laugh. So we cut the power to the whole place. The cameras are gone. They're gonna be gone anyways. So we cut the power, find a car the same make and model as yours, and I dig out the parts your car needs. An hour, maybe an hour and a half tops. You can get the lights. Stan turns his head and looks at you, waving away a fresh cloud of smoke as he accidentally exhales in your direction. You sure? You got it. I got this. The two of you stand there in silence for a few more minutes before he bends down and grinds his cigar cold on the asphalt, straightening with a groan and a puff of quiet laughter. He is starting to remember why I quit doing this kind of thing. Is she alright with this kid? Robbing the place? You don't think I can't do it? You don't think I can do it? No, that's not it. I've been keeping up. Just fine all night. You just don't seem like you have a lot of experience here. Plenty experience tonight. He smiles, a warm and genuine expression that ignites something fuzzy and soft inside you. You don't notice you're staring until he turns away and moves away towards the trunk. He reaches into the car and pulls a lever under the driver's side of the front seat, and the trunk pops open. You follow him to it, and after rummaging around in the contents for a minute, he brings out a pair of pliers. Alright, you go over there and take care of the lights. I got a few things to get together. You crouch behind the fence when you reach the lot, scrambling along in the shadows until you reach the dealership's main building. In the peek over the edge, you see that the wall of the building is cast in shadow from a poorly placed streetlight. Another peek, and you spot a car the same make as yours off to the back of the lot, near a sign that says Discount Section, Big Deals. It takes an embarrassing amount of effort to get over the fence, but you manage it and press yourself flat against the wall, inching towards the fuse box. It's locked, but you pry it open with the pliers and look over what's inside. A bunch of switches and some wires. Rip the wires out. Not the most elegant job, and you realize after you're done it that you're glad you're still wearing the gloves Stan gave you from earlier, in case what you did was dangerous. The lights, however, remain unchanged. A big switch. With your face pinched in concentration, you push the biggest switch in the opposite direction, and the entire property goes dark. You slip the tools into your back pocket and take a look around just to make sure the power's out. With a satisfied nod, you feel your way into the parking lot, knocking your shins on 3 separate cars before you figure out you should probably just stop and wait for Stan. Where you at, kid? His voice isn't far away, but he isn't close either. You feel your way around an SUV and then a Stan? The gravel in the parking lot crunches under your feet, and you reflexively stare down at the ground ahead of you as your eyes slowly adjust to the darkness. Out ahead of you, a flashlight turns on and scans the lot until it finds you. Found you. He sounds amused, probably at the way you're standing with your arms spread over a wide, sleek, modern sports car. Getting familiar with the merchandise yet? Give the car an awkward pat and make your way towards the beginning of the flashlight's beam. You see anything the same make and model as yours before you shut the light off? Yeah, there's one back in the discount section. It's kind of insulting now that you think about it, actually. He hands you the flashlight when you reach him, and you start slowly back towards the discount cars. Discount cars. It's a classic. It's usually extremely reliable, to be perfectly honest. It's not even your fault that it's in the state it's in. It was Ford and his whatever it is. Your deep and salty thoughts when hands suddenly grip your ribs on either side. Gotcha! You scream and throw back an elbow at whatever's got a hold of you, and you hear Stan yelp and fall in a clatter of kicked gravel and metal banging together. It scared you again. Got you that time, motherfucker. You turn your face to the flashlight where you heard him fall, and you find him with a hand cupped in his face, blood trickling out from between his gloved fingers. Yeah, I deserve that one. Oh, shit, I'm really sorry. I'll be alright. Just help me up. You took the still-lit flashlight into your back pocket for a moment, reaching down and finding his hands in the dark to pull him up. Once he's on his feet, you retrieve the flashlight from your pocket. As you bring the beam to Stan's face, you find him holding a handkerchief over his nose and squinting. He's apparently brought a backpack with him, and it's sitting on the ground behind him where he presumably dropped it when you elbowed him. You know, that was a really solid hit. You got a lot of power in there. I don't know if you were just saying to be nice earlier, but he really could show you some moves. Teach you how to direct that strength. He removes the hanky from his nose for a moment, gently prodding at the bridge of his nose with a finger and frowns. Well, it's not broken, that's for sure. That's good. He laughs quietly, taking a clean corner of the handkerchief and dabbing at his nose with it, grimacing and sniffling hard when he comes back still clean. Good to go. You sure you're alright? Yeah, of course. I've gotten worse beatings than that, believe me. His face is flushed from the sudden injury. He does look otherwise okay, so you sigh and place your hands on your hips. And let's finish this. He reaches out towards you, then catches a glimpse of the blood and reconsiders wiping gloves as clean as he can with the hanky. Then you reach the car he spotted earlier. He pops the hood and drops his pack on the ground next to the bumper, unzipping it to reveal a jumble of various wrenches and tools. Alright, hold the flashlight steady on the engine and keep an eye out. Flashlights on. But keep an eye. It doesn't take long for him to get what he needs for your car. Shutting the hood and setting his pack on as he stuffs parts into it. That was quick. Now the parts you need are easy to find. Just takes the right. Hey, what's going on over here? That you, bud? You move a flashlight, finds you both. Stan turns around quickly, leaving the bag behind him on the hood. Yeah? Hans, what the heck happened to your face? What are you doing here? Are you stealing parts again? No. Stan inches closer to you until your shoulders touch. Behind you, he pushes the bag in your hands before lowering his voice to speak to you. Run for it. Keep the bag out of sight, toss it into some bushes nearby. Get it later. You nod, picking up the bag and holding it behind yourself. Your flashlight by the road moves closer. You slowly scoot away from the car and backwards. Hey, where are you going? Backwards a little faster, still keeping the bag out of sight. The light leads you to check on Stan. You make a break for it towards the back fence, throwing the bag over ahead of you. A voice nearby speaks. You yelp. Hey, where are you going? Burglar. You're under arrest for burglary. There's a shout from Stan behind you, and then a heavy thud. One of the car alarms starts squealing. You're so surprised by the yawn that the second cop gets his hands around your wrist and slaps a pair of handcuffs on you. Better quit your squirming there, buddy. Caught you fair and square. Oh, come on, Blubs. Let's save the town from an interdimensional demon. Give me a break. Sorry, Stan. Got a job to do. Stan grumbles quietly. The man behind you leads you towards the road behind Stan and Blubs, who's now got him in cuffs. You need to get out of this, but how? I don't know, Stan. You're just... It's something moves between your fingers. You grab it and bring it back. Not sure what it is, but it feels cool and metal. You slip it into your back pocket. Oh shoot, darling, we don't have the cruiser. Need my ideas for romantic strolls in the moonlight. Why don't we just commandeer Stan's car? Even commandeer? I don't know. Edwin Derlin, you are an absolute delight. I cherish having you as my life partner. Derlin giggles behind you. Blubs giggles with him. The two of them push you and Stan into the back seat of his car, crowding you with moaning. Stan grips it protectively, muttering under his breath about the fuzz. He's quiet for most of the ride, only speaking up once. You okay, Mac Ranger? Yeah, I'm alright. He falls silent after you respond. He stays that way all the way back to the station. Inside the station, Derlin leads you to a pair of chairs by a desk, and Blubs disappears down the hallway. Blubs is back after a few minutes. Deep frown set into his face. After directing the frown at Derlin, takes him and Stan down another hallway to a set of cells. First, he withdraws a set of keys and opens the door. And Stan are uncuffed with a solid, alarming clang. The cell door shuts and locks. You two better get comfortable. Get your prints in the morning. Stan grumbles, sitting down under the provided bunk beds, and you sit down on the one next to him, facing him. He peels off his gloves, tucking them inside out in his pocket, feeds with a loose thread on the thin wool blanket on the bunk bed. At the door at the end of the hallway, you hear Dermot say something about fancy black finger paints to gloves. Where the bright fluorescent lights, you can see just a little bit of blood smeared under his nose and on his chin. You feel a flush of embarrassment when you remember that you're the one who did that to him. It's not so great. You can say that again. How are we gonna get out of here? Stan shrugs, crossing his arms over his chest and flopping back onto the mattress. I don't think we can, kid. See if I can convince them that you got hypnotized or something into coming along with me. Keep you out of trouble. Listen, if you're going down for this, then so am I. He laughs quietly, propping himself up on his elbows. You want to get in trouble with the law, kid. Trust me. This isn't my first time spending a night in jail. Not by a long shot. Sounds rough. Yeah, well, so it goes. This won't be so bad compared to 5 years in a Colombian prison. The story behind that doesn't look like he wants to tell you. Anyway, the only way we're getting out of here is with keys. We'll just slip out a window or something. You think for a moment, stuffing your hands in your pockets, and suddenly remember the thing you grabbed off the Falcon cop, Derland. Wait, jump to your feet and dig in your back pocket, withdrawing the small metal thing you stole from it. A set of car keys. Or plastic keys or say a photo for you. Stan's not looking, staring down at the floor of his cell instead. You think you know what to do with these. You go to the bar, the cell's good for Derland. Hey, can you hear me out there? You dropped your car keys. A faint discussion in the other room stops. A moment later, Derland comes into view. Did you get my key fob? I'm looking for that. He holds it through the bars with both hands and reaches for the key fob. He reaches out in his belt with the right hand. And he clips the reel of keys from his belt. He doesn't notice. Derland thanks you for returning his key fob and gives both you and Stan a scrutinizing stare before heading back down the hallway through the door. You hold the keys out in front of yourself and jingle them triumphantly. Look what I got off Derland. Stan stares at you in disbelief, then at you, then at the keys. Back at you again for laughing incredulously. I'm sure you don't have experience with this kind of thing. Stan takes the keys from you, looking them over in his palm. He smiles up at you, then looks down at the keys and covers his mouth with his hand, dragging it down over his chin. Can't believe you've been shown up by a tourist. Get used to it, buddy, because I've got skills. He looks proud, smiling up at you like you just handed him $1 million. Well, what are we waiting for? Let's get the heck out of here. He stands as you reach through the bars and try keys until one works. The door swings open with a quiet creak, and you creep down the hallway to the door. You open it a crack, looking out into the lobby and see Blubs asleep at the front desk. Derland not in sight. Slowly, you leave the door open and move into the lobby. Stan taps your shoulder and whispers low. You gotta get my keys. You seen them anywhere? Glance around the spot next to where Blubs is asleep. Drool, leg on the table. Shoo. Crossing your fingers for luck. You sneak over to the desk and reach in to grab them. Suddenly, Blubs stirs and bubbles. Dang, big fuck, stealing my shoes, stretching all my shoes. Stan snorts behind you. You manage to suppress a laugh as you pluck the keys away. Wait, hold on. Stan disappears in one of you. You're stunned. Wonder what the hell he can be doing right now. It's more important than escaping. Before you have the chance to call him something that you might regret later, he reappears in the doorway with a troublesome clown painting under his arm. Seriously, duh. Right, let's roll. Slipping out with only a click, the station door behind you, and Stan climb into his car and escape into the night. After stopping by Bud's dealership to pick up the hidden backpack, you and your partner in crime head back to the shack in comfortable silence. You feel tired if you weren't for the adrenaline. Carry the backpack inside while Stan brings in the cologne and the briefcase, setting both on the kitchen table. I'd call that a successful night. Even though we got arrested, so would I. And fun, too. You grin over him and realize in the bright kitchen light that he's still got blood on his face. And you keep forgetting, you're the one who elbowed him after all. You've got... Oh, come here. Pull one of the chairs out from under the table, gesturing for him to sit down. What the fuck? He looks looks a little wary, but obeys. The chair's ancient metal frame creaking under his weight. Grab a couple paper towels, turning in the faucet sink and wetting them. I'll clean you up, old man. Mentally steadying yourself, you hold the side of his face and neck in your hand. With gentle pressure, the guy descended to your back until he's lit up fully by the overhead light. You can don't look at me like that. You can feel him blush under your hand, the skin heating up. He seems too surprised to protest or even speak as you wipe the now dried blood from his face. He's quiet while you work, watching you with warm brown eyes rimmed by dark lashes. I could have taken care of myself, you know. He says this, but he hasn't pulled away or made any move to leave. I did the damage. The least I could do is clean up after myself. Anyway, you've done plenty, he says. The paper towel you had became too soiled to work with, so you toss them into the trash and get back and get a few more. Your hand returns to his cheek, and you can be imagining things, but it almost feels like he leans into it. I did have a good time with you tonight. I had no idea crime could be so fun. He smirks, avoiding your gaze. I had a good time too. He paused for a moment, realizing something. Those cops aren't going to come after us, are they? Stan shrugs. Probably not. They're nice enough guys. Not exactly competent. Laugh quietly as he smirks up at you. You stand back to make sure you're finished and toss the last paper towels into the trash. Sure it's not broken? Nah, I'm fine. Don't worry about it. Your hand lingers on his cheek. Oh, God's sake. Now you're welcome. What should I do here? What to do? My heart is going all in. Take a fortifying deep breath and lean down, wrapping your arms around him. Thanks for the car parts. You pull away. He's got a funny look on his face, and for the good time. Good night. He stares at you for a moment with that look on his face, then composes himself and gives you a goofy smile. Sleep tight, Big Ranger. You brush your teeth and change into your pajamas. It's not until you get into bed that you realize you're still smiling. The rush from it isn't completely faded, but after a while, your eyes grow heavy and you drift off to sleep. And that's where I'm going to end it for now. I'm kind of grunkled out. Caterers, I hear wedding bells. This looks like it's not That's it. That's